Dear brothers, my dad was a meticulous dude in everything. If the lawn was being mowed, the lines were perfect, and he'd be the first person to tell you that they were. I can remember him being on his hands and knees in our kitchen with these stupid white knee pads on and scrubbing the floors till they were spotless. And he'd be whistling some Queen or Boston song. If he cleaned one of the cars, it was absolutely brand new by the time it was all said and done. He didn't do anything in a half-assed manner. So just like any kid who wants to be like their dad, I wanted to emulate his level of surgical precision in my own endeavors. So I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. That was one of the best lessons that I ever learned about this. So when I was in middle school at the time, I was thinking to myself, I really want to clean our house. So my parents both worked full time, and I think they'd be super proud if I went through and just cleaned the house before they got home. So off to cleaning I went crazy. Just like my dad, hands and knees, scrubbing the floor. I dusted, I vacuumed, I cleaned out the entire fridge. I threw old food away. I went through the bathrooms. I did leave my parents' bathroom out. It always creeped me out. I sprayed down all the appliances, cleaned the washer and dryer, got the lint and stuff out of there. I tidied up our breezeway. The countertops were spotless when it was all said and done. The sink looked brand new. Every dish was put away. I even lit a couple of candles before they got home so that the house would smell even better than it did after all the cleaning that I did. Our house looked brand fucking new. I couldn't have been more proud of myself. I was as high as I think I could have ever been, although that may have been in part because of all the Windex and floor cleaner that I was using. But I felt accomplished. I was super proud of the fact that I'd put in all this effort and our house looked incredible. So I was anxious for my folks to get home. And for some reason, my dad got home early that night. Usually he was always the last one there, but he got home a little early. So he walks in the house and I can see him look around, clearly aware that I had done a bunch of work to the house. And almost like a good home inspector, I can see him like taking inventory of like the kitchen and the sink and the laundry room and the floors and the dining room, and that like I could see him going through all of that. Like he had some weird checklist in his head. And this all took place in a matter of seconds, but it felt like an eternity before he like said something. So he walks over to me, gives me a big hug, kisses me on the cheek, which is what he did every day. And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey bud, the house looks good, but you know what would have really made it special? If you had taken a wet washcloth and shined the countertops right before we got home. That shine really makes all the difference." And I was gutted. I had just worked for hours getting the house as clean as physically possible. On my hands and knees, cleaning every fucking crevice in that house, sweating my ass off. And all I got was, "Looks good, bud, but it could be better." He walked off and I went up to my room devastated. I was furious. Like who is he to tell me that this could be better? It looks just as good as when my dad does it. I couldn't understand, why can't he give me any credit? Is it because he doesn't want to admit that it's better than him? Is he ashamed that, I could do such a better job? I thought that he was the biggest asshole in the world. I can remember how angry I was sitting in that room. A couple hours go by and I come downstairs. My dad was sitting on the couch and he gave me the old, "Jackson, come on over here." So he said, "Do you want to talk about what I said earlier and why you've been upstairs sulking for the last couple of hours?" And I can remember just letting him have it. I was pissed that he could demean me and the hard work that I did, and he didn't give me any credit. And how can you do that to me? Like, I worked so hard on this and all you said was, "It looks good." Like, that sucks. I worked really hard. But in my dad's natural fashion, which happened all the time, an incredible lesson was inbound for me, and I wasn't even kind of ready for it. So he says, buddy, you did an incredible job on the house. You made it look beautiful. But anybody can clean a house. People are paid to do it. Your mom and I do it. Anybody can clean. But what makes something special is when you sign your name to it. When you put your John Hancock on your work. When people walk in, they would go, wow, clearly Jackson Taylor was here. This is the kind of work that he does. They know that you go above and beyond. When you shine those countertops or go that little extra mile, that is the touch that allows people to know the kind of work that Jackson Taylor does, that a Taylor does in this family. Remember, bud, in everything you do, sign your name to it. Be it when dealing with people or in business or with football or with school, make sure that you put your absolute best foot forward so that you can sign your name to it in the end and be proud of it. Anyone can do things well, but not everyone is willing to seek perfection. I'm a 13-year-old kid sitting there, my eyes welled up, and as he always did, my dad gave me one of his patented hugs, which literally made the world feel like it didn't exist, and I couldn't have been any safer and more loved in that moment. So he hugs me, lets me go, tells me he's proud of me and how grateful he is of the effort that I gave. And I walked away from that a totally different person. I think that story speaks for itself, guys. In anything that you do, your marriage, your relationships, your jobs, your hobbies, your workouts, your nutrition, whatever it ends up being, make sure that when you finish that thing, if you touch it, you feel like you can sign your name to it. You will undoubtedly fail in this a great majority of the time. I have failed at it my entire life, just like I did that day back in middle school when I tried cleaning the house. However, when you seek that level of excellence where you're literally willing to sign something you've done and say, hey, this is my work, this is how I do things, you will always end up a better man for it, and life will treat you better because of that. Your opportunities will grow because of that level of effort. Always remember, anyone can do a good job, but not everyone can do a memorable one. Be that kind of person that signs their name to it. As always, God bless, be strong, let's get after it, boys.